Yo,
What is up, traders? Tex and Ads here with you for another Thursday night market scan. Uh, Ads. What a week. What a week. I'm not
like,
going to lie. Mentally, that took a toll on me for sure. With coronavirus, market meltdowns, BTC being crazy, doing its thing, the whales at play. This has probably been not necessarily for the best reasons, but the most interesting trading week I think I've ever experienced in my 3 or 4 year tenure of trading. Ads.
look,
Whew,
mate,
tough one.
we've been saying recession for how long? 2 years now, at least. Writing on the
I
wall,
Yeah, I
gold.
honestly, I remember. I think when we did it was one of our first live calls. I think it was in like March 2018, maybe, or no. I take that back. Maybe it was like maybe October 2017. I think it was one of the first times that we did one of our live sessions, and the sort of the theme was, admittedly, I thought 2021 was going to be the year where we were at this point. You look at the way that market cycles work. Typically, a market cycles work in like almost like 8 year waves for
Mm,
traditional markets, and we were well overdue for something like this. And then,
mm.
but admittedly, I didn't see this coming. I definitely didn't see this coming. And when we did our Tuesday night session this week, I was happy and proud to admit that I am definitely not one of those people that said, "Yep, I called this." I did not call this whatsoever. So it's about 6 to 8 months too early, And we said for a long time too here in Australia. Ads and I are both based in Melbourne. That the housing market was going to be the sort of the next one to fall. And even though we have a slight recovery over the last few months, particularly in the major metropolitan areas, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, in sort of in our opinion, this is the next market to suffer quite a bit. I think, in my opinion, I think the housing market is going to be the next one to go here in Australia. And we're looking now at the RBA today cut the interest rates to 0.025%, which is phenomenal. We're going very close to sort of negative interest rates, which in our opinion isn't a great thing for the economy. We use these decreases in interest rates to try and stimulate the economy. But when we start getting into 0 interest % rates, what more do we have to really try and stimulate this economy? We're seeing America now doing quantitative easing. It's really getting to a pretty negative point, and a lot of people that were looking at BTC as this uncorrelated asset, this safe haven during times of market uncertainty, were certainly proven wrong in the last couple of weeks with what we've seen on BTC. So just before we jumped on, Az and I are having a little bit of a debate about what we thought with BTC, and how people are using this as sort of a hedge at the moment, perhaps, or a safe haven to invest in whilst the markets crash. Do we see BTC going up? You know, I think Ads and I have slightly differing opinions. I do think that BTC is certainly not immune from what's happening in the traditional market sectors, but certainly looking at BTC now, I think post all of this, the market needs a restructure. We need to really look differently at the way that we view traditional markets, and the way that the governments regulate monetary policy, and the way that we look at things, because it's not working. We are not immune from things like this, and this really genuinely could be the catalyst for people looking at BTC as this decentralized asset that isn't controlled by a single entity. This is a global world coin. I'm getting very deep into some of my thoughts here, and we've always been like this for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for a number of years now. But certainly, if the governments of the world step back and say, "All right, we need a restructure of these monetary policies and this monetary system that we have right now," crypto and BTC really could be that. So it's a very exciting time for BTC, despite what's going on at the moment, and crypto, and I say BTC because I'm talking about Bitcoin. I'm not talking about shit coins or anything else besides Bitcoin. Potentially Ethereum for the smart contracts, but Bitcoin certainly is one of the most exciting prospects if people are looking for some sort of new money to use and to buy and to be a part of. So in all in this doom and gloom, there's certainly some positives for Bitcoin and for cryptocurrency. Ads.
Absolutely, there is. Look, it's like Ty said, it could be the catalyst for the decoupling that it needs. Like, obviously we're looking at BTC being directly correlated, not directly, but it's still correlated with these massive market moves. Like you look at the S&P 500 USD, the top 500 US stocks, and then you compare it to the BTC chart. You overlay the two, and the drops are eerily similar, Ty.
Yeah,
So it's something
yeah,
that needs to
yeah,
happen,
exactly
in my
right.
opinion. Needs to happen.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So we want to make this a pretty short, sharp session tonight. We've got a couple of announcements for anyone that might want to come and join us inside the inner circle. Tomorrow night, we are doing a bit of an internal scalping session. I was long from 5179, I think it was, recently closed out about 40% of my position, looking for some moves to the upside that we explained in our inner circle this morning. Happy to be proven wrong at this point. But for anyone that does want to come and join us tomorrow night, we're doing a scalping session. Ads and I and a lot of our guys have been trading on the smaller time frames. For myself, the 15-minute time frame seems to be my bag. Admittedly, during the times that we're seeing with Bitcoin, I'm really only trading BTC and ETH at this point. I'm slowly starting to look at some alts for very quick trades. We saw Ion do 10% today, BAT around 5%, FET did 8%, GNT, Golem did 7%, ICX 5%. So a few little alt, I wouldn't really call them recoveries at this stage, but a few little alt moves today. So looking for some short, quick little alt plays, but really trying to put an emphasis on BTC and ETH. So if you would like to come and trade with us tomorrow, you can jump into our Discord at unitytradinggroup.com and just tag Ads or I in the main channels. And we're happy to invite you to our beers and Bitcoin session tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually really excited to get in. I think we've got about 15 or 20 people so far. It's going to be a very casual session, just trading the small time frames. We're going to share some of our scalping strategies and invite some of our members to share their scalping strategies as well. But in all of this volatility and everything that we're seeing in the last sort of couple of weeks, the small time frames have been a lot of fun. So Ads, let's get into BTC right now and see what we're seeing. We did do an update this morning for our members, and so far we're pretty on track, I think, Ads.
So what I'm looking at right now, Ty, is the fib levels that you see drawn in, and I'll zoom out so everyone can see that, is basically this entire move. So swing low to swing high, pretty much, Ty, on the move on BTC, and I'll just nip that up a little bit so we can get a proper reading out of it. But essentially, what I'm seeing, Ty, is I'm looking at a lot of the previous history for BTC, especially the run up from the start of the move to that pushed us to 20k, Ty, and when we retraced down to 3,000, we did bounce off this 88.6 fib retracement, and looking like that is going to be occurring a second time. It's hard to say whether we're going to fall flat on our faces and head back down to 4,100. But at the moment, it's looking like a big start of a big accumulation phase where we're teetering with the 78.6 right now, and we're looking to close the daily above it if that can hold us, if the bulls can hold us up.
Yeah, and if we go to the 4 hour as well, Ads, and you and I were talking about this just before we jumped on now, and as I said on Tuesday, I didn't think that we would get to this 5.5 mark. I didn't think that we'd get to this 3.8 mark that we were at. I was very wrong, and again, happy to admit that. I'm never one to talk about things in hindsight. We got to 3.8. I did not expect that, as I assume many people didn't as well. But one thing that we did say is that we saw this very clear accumulation range a couple of months ago. We spoke about this markup phase, and then we spoke about a distribution phase, which obviously leads to, as Wyckoff sort of said, it's this cause and effect trading market where we had these these times where the market goes in cycles of these oversold and overbought conditions, where we have these markup phases after our accumulation area, our distribution area leading into our oversold conditions, where then supply is greater than demand, and we have these markdown phases. So, I feel this was very much our markdown phase. If we look at BTC on the 4-hour, which we do now, and we've got our accumulation schematic, we could very much say that this level of demand, or this level here, was our selling climax, which was followed by an automatic rally. We've got pretty much, and it's kind of hard to call at this sort of time here, but what we have here is really looks like a secondary test. And then from that, if we look, we would pretty much be like phase A. We might look at something like phase B here and a lower point of support before we start seeing some sort of sign of strength around this 7K mark, maybe a little bit lower. So we really very much could be in this accumulation range right now and could teeter in this range for a little bit before any sort of profound move up. So in the short term, what Ads and I were looking at, we posted this morning inside our inner circle where we spoke about this sort of 5-4, 5-5 mark being the, in my opinion, what I'm looking at now is sort of from here up to around 5-6 being the next level of resistance. If we can clear where we are from here, then in my opinion, 5-8 sort of 6 is looking like the next level. We've got a little bit of clear air from there. We did see that's the start of that savage dump around 6.040 was the start of that really major move down. So from there, I will be looking for short positions around that 6K marker. I can't see us breaching that period or breaching that level on this sort of first run, but I do believe any sort of moves that we're going to see are going to be in the next sort of potentially 24 to 48 hours. At least by the weekend, I feel like we're gonna see some movement here, because we are kind of ranging at the moment. But looking at Garn pivots and Garn dates, which we've been moving into pretty heavily from sort of my perspective inside the inner circle, the next few days are going to be very telling for any potential moves, and I feel it will be to the upside.
Mm. And I do agree with that as well. Like, I do agree with that whole accumulation phase, but I do think Ty is correct where we'll probably bounce between these two ranges for maybe a little while, probably not as long as that, but maybe a little while. And we're more than likely, well, not more than likely, but this is my opinion, we're sort of going to possibly create the same sort of scenario when we saw back at 3,000 or the 3K mark, when we savagely dumped from 6K down to 3. And a lot of the influencers, a lot of the people in the space were calling for lower prices, and a lot of people that I have spoken to over the past 6, 7, 10 months have said we were expecting lower prices. We didn't jump into the market because we were expecting lower prices when we were at 3K. We were expecting the 1,500 to 2,000s, everything like that. So just keep that in mind. Like, history does repeat itself as much as it doesn't seem to, as much as these markets do surprise us every time something like this happens, but it does happen again, Ty.
Yeah, and yeah, don't try and catch a falling knife. Like, let's consider the amount of money and the amount of volume that most retail traders play with. Yeah. I dare say 90% of the people that are watching this stream now trade with less than 20K. If you're investing another 3, 4, 5, 10K, whatever it is, if it means you getting some Bitcoin at 3,800 or 4,400 or 5,500, really, in the scheme of things and where we predict we're going to be in the next 5 to 10 years with Bitcoin, what fucking difference is it going to make? Don't try and hold out for these low levels. You could have dollar cost averaged in. You could have looked at lower positions where we were around the 3.2, 3.4 mark for that previous bottom. Slowly average into a position if that's what you feel like you need to do. Don't try and catch the absolute bottom of a move. Keeping in mind we were at 3.6. I'm looking at the Bitcoin US perpetual on BitMEX, and we got to 3.6. We're now at 5.5. That's like a $2,000 difference. That's really nothing in the sense of things, So don't try and don't try and continue waiting for lower lows or for lower moves down. Of course, this is not financial advice, but I think this is really just common sense. Use your brain, put some dollars into Bitcoin if you feel like this is where it is. At 10K, we were all begging for like 7K to put some more money into it. And when we were at 7K, we were begging for 5K. We're at 5.5 right now. This is low, man. So don't waste this opportunity. If that's what you want to do now, I think now seems like as good a time as ever to look at what your options might be with getting some Bitcoin.
Yeah, look, and we were even having the discussion of the miners and cost of production of BTC type.
Yeah,
where we're at. Only when we were at 3K back a couple of months ago, the cost of production was 3K. That's not going to be the case now, where we're at 5.5. The cost of production, we're probably teetering underneath that right now, and we're having a halving in the next month, or just over a month, or whatever it may be. That cost is going to double overnight. So, yeah.
That's very much something to consider. And we spoke about the cost of mining production. I think it was around 6.4, or I think that's what the cost of production will be post halving. It'll be around $6,500, which will be the cost of production. And when you've got all these nodes on the network looking to mine Bitcoin at a certain price, it's going to become exceptionally hard post halving. So, it's in their best interest to continue moving the price up a little bit. But again, this is where I very much say that I've never been through an instance like this. Yes, I was around in 2008, but I wasn't trading anything in 2008. I don't know how old I was. I was like 8. I don't know how. Maybe I was 20 or something like that. So, don't discount Bitcoin just yet, but don't think it's the be all end all until we get some sort of confirmation. But of course, long term, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. I'll be a Bitcoin lover to the day I die. So I'm happy to take the risk and to shoot the gamble because I feel it will pay off. But of course, do your own analysis on certain things like this and don't trust what a couple of kooks on the internet say like us ads.
No, we're not that bad, I reckon.
Sometimes we can be
there's
like worse out there. There's much worse out
there.
Much worse. I think I follow a lot of them on Twitter just for a laugh.
But
right. So that's our thoughts on BTC at the moment. If you do have comments or questions or anything, go to unitytradinggroup.com, jump into the Discord. We're happy to answer any questions or talk, debate. We love healthy debate. If someone has a differing opinion, I'm the first person to stop and listen to them. So happy to hear what you might have to say. So let's get into ETH right now and see what is happening with Ethereum.
You want USD or BTC? USD.
Let's go USD because that's what we're trading at the minute.
All right. USD. ETH USD is in the same sort of position as BTC, where we had a savage dump, but a savage dump from about the $200 mark, and admittedly, my target was about about $120. Yeah, it was about $128, I think it was roughly. Yep. We did bounce like perfectly to the dollar off our level of demand here, and that was drawn from this candle structure just to the left here. All right, using some of these candle bodies and forming the zone from the bottom of that pivot point, which we did bounce off at basically $90, $89.68, but $90 pretty much. And we're having the same sort of market structure as BTC right now. And we have been rejected on the 23 fib when we're drawing it from swing high to swing low. And we're probably looking towards that price again at $136, Ty, I reckon, on ETH USD. If we had to look in the next couple of weeks, probably not even that long, probably next 7 days or so, I think that the 136.23 fibs can be the next level of resistance or next test for Ethereum. If we do close above that on the daily, happy days.
Yeah, I do think we'll have a little bit of chop before we get
Yeah.
to that point there. So, sort of short term, as we said, 128. I think we said that on Tuesday when we were ranging around the 100. I think we were around the $115 mark, I think, on Tuesday night when we did our open session. So, where we are now, I think we'll have a little bit of chop. I think 100 between here and $129 or $128 is going to prove to be the next sort of level. Where we might sort of range. And then, I'm looking at around 134 to a sort of $135 for the next move up. So admittedly, as I've said a few times, ETH is really what I'm scalping and trading more than probably Bitcoin so much at the minute, just because on the 15-minute chart where I'm trading it, and as are a number of our students now as well, the TA is just being respected profoundly well. And it's really been a real beautiful coin to trade the last couple of weeks. So if we put our volume profile on the 4-hour ads, we could probably look for further confirmation of where things might head. So if we just double click on the volume profile and change our bars to 120. Yeah, so what we can see here is that we've got a pretty clear, we've got our high volume nodes here. Looking at what we've got here, we know that when we, just clear this. We know that when we look at our volume profile, it presents a number of shapes. We see things like lower or uppercase P's, we see B's, we see D's, we see things like this, B's. So when you look at it as a sort of a higher risk trade, this is the point of control here. So if you were looking at a higher risk sort of trade, this would be the area to long. Our high volume node sort of ends here, and we have what's called a gap with our volume profile. And then again, we see our high volume nodes around this range, which is really, really high up. But from here, this is kind of the next level where we're looking at ads. I can't actually even see that on your screen. I've got you on my bigger monitor. Where is that sort of
that level
here
is
for that fib?
135.
There we go. So 135 at this point seems to be the higher level of these high volume nodes, where we're going to get the next level of resistance, in my opinion. So there we go. What ads has said and what I've said seems to play pretty true as well with our volume profile, that's going to be the next level where we're looking for some sort of resistance. Ideally, we'd love to clear this gap, but and we can see here on the left-hand side, we've got very little structure holding that back for a move up, but I'm not looking for that just yet, ads. We can sort of see what we've got here is we've got what looks to be increasing price. We've got lower volume, which indicates that a move to the upside, at least past this point, may not be sustained.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how that plays out, at least to the $135 mark, to make a decision and see where where Ethereum will take us. Look, more than likely, you're right, Ty. It's going to be a little bit of chop, a little bit of more sideways movement as the market decides. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll come back to it next week.
Yeah, 100%. So let's see how we go from here. We're not going to look at too many alts. Actually, we're not really going to look at any alts tonight beside XRP. That's the only one that I really want to have a look at and see what's happening. I've not charted this whatsoever. I could not even tell you where we're at the moment.
We are at the 15-cent mark on XRP, and it's suffered the same fate as everything else, Ty. Nothing too shocking on this one.
Yeah, I just want to here we go. I got to get you up on my main screen so I can see what I'm looking at. So what have we got? 15 cents. Yeah, so again, using our volume profile, which we tomorrow night, if you do want to join us on our lower time frame trading session at unitradinggroup.com, I'm going to go through how I'm using volume profile. And I was saying to ads today, volume profile is something that was shown to me by Brent at Blockchain Blitz on the Trade Hacker podcast about a month or so ago, and I interviewed him from Mexico. He gave me a little bit of a private rundown on how he uses volume profile. I did record that. I might release it to our inner circle members. He's a phenomenal trader. Been trading the world for the last couple of years, just living off crypto. I know Brent's not watching this, but he's a a champion trader. He's a fucking gun. So he was showing me some of this again. Here we are now. Looks like we're going to be facing a little bit of resistance here. We want to try and clear this point to this high volume node here around, what is that, 19 sort of cents, 20 cents, which lines up really well with the next level of demand. So we've got a buy let me rewind that a little bit. We've got an oversold condition on Steamroller. We don't say buy or sell here at Unity Trading Group. It's not financial advice, but we've got a very clear oversold condition. Our RSI is on the turn up. We've got a little bit of divergence here as well. So we could be headed up towards this next point around 19 cents if we can clear this high volume node that we've got here.
Absolutely, that'll play very well into the supply that I've got drawn there, tied about 19 cents. So
funny that.
Yeah, that's always it's always good to get a second opinion and come to the same fucking conclusion. But
what does our just out of curiosity, what does Unimoku say ads? We've got our custom Uni, which is our itch UTG, third from the top that you've got on your left hand side there, man.
Oh, there we go. That's itch UTG. That's Unimoku, right?
This is our custom Unimoku indicator where we can change time frames dynamically and settings. So if we go to our settings ads, that's the crypto settings.
That's the what do you want? The normal settings.
Let's go to our standard settings. Our 926 52 26.
Bang.
The 1 day lines up pretty well there with our baseline. So it looks like we've got a little bit of conversion line resistance around this level here. And then using our baseline as the next point lines up quite well with our cloud as well. And again, our volume profile. So yeah, very much could be on the cards. Watching XRP closely if you are trading that. But for myself, I'll be sticking to ETH and BTC for the time being.
Perfect, Ty.
Excellent. All right. So listen, what we did, we understand, even though we only charge, a very small amount for the knowledge that we share and the TA that we share inside our inner circle. What we've offered to our guys is the next month or maybe, in the next month or so, free. We've completely waived all our fees just to obviously, appreciate everyone that puts their trust and support into us here at UTG. So we're not charging anybody for the inner circle at the moment or for the sort of short-term foreseeable future. And what we wanted to do was obviously also invite you over if you would like to join us at the inner circle. This is not a sales pitch. This is not anything. If you want to join us inside the inner circle and pay us $30 a month to trade and talk shit and have a great time, that's fine. If you don't, that's totally fine too. But if you would like some sort of support and some guidance from traders such as Ads and myself, who I think by now we've been doing this for a few years now, we have a pretty proven track record that we know what we're talking about, and we've mentored hundreds of people in the last few years. You can go to unitytradinggroup.com. We will post the link in this video and in our Discord as well if you want to come and join us. This is a 14-day free access to our inner circle. You can vent, you can ask questions, you can be a part of the TA that we share, all of our members share, some guides, a bunch of resources, our Tuesday night live sessions, our Thursday night live sessions, and 24 access to us and all of the incredible humans that we have inside our inner circle at the moment. So you can see that there, unitytradinggroup.com/product/14-day exclusive access. Add it to your cart. Ads and I will get the notification, and you can join us inside our inner circle. No pressure, no sweat. You can join us if you want. If not, that's totally fine too.
Perfect.
Cool. All right. We'll see you inside Discord. Hope to see you tomorrow night on our scalping session and can't wait to see you next Thursday. But until then, have a great night.
Catch you later, guys. Thanks for joining us.
See you guys. Bye-bye.